Good morning everyone. Today we'll be dealing about the session layer. Session layer has two concepts in the OSI model. One is said to be your dialog control. Dialog control is nothing but when the data is being transferred. I have to keep track of the data when it is being transferred, where it has reached, what it is being doing, whether it is transmitting the whole data, whether it is transmitting half of the data, everything it will be tracked. That is said to be your dialog control in the session layer. And whereas the synchronization, when I am said to be transferring the data from one end to another end, so each packet in between it is said to be having the concept of sync. Sync is nothing but I have to transfer the data in 2 seconds from one end to another end, another about 2 seconds. So that synchronization it should be maintained. It's nothing but it doesn't take 3 seconds or 4 seconds at each level. So that is called as the synchronization. It should maintain the time while it is transmitting or when it is said to be receiving. That is said to be your session layer. In the session layer there are two types. Remember, it should be maintaining the dialog control. Another one it is should be maintaining the sync in the session layer. Okay, those are the concepts in the session layer. This is the diagram which helps you out in knowing about the session layer. Session layer consists of which is there in between the transport layer and the presentation layer. So it gets the data from the transport layer and it transfer to the presentation layer, or it may be vice versa. It may be from presentation layer it gets the data and transfer to the transport layer. The both way it happens, and it has the header which transfers the data from one end to another end, and each level it will be having that sync concept here. Okay, so this is session layer, and you have the presentation layer. Presentation layer is nothing but how you when you are said to be transferring the data, it should be understood by the system. Nothing but it should be a human readable, or it may be it should be in the format which is said to be machine understandable format. It should convert. So that comes under the part of presentation layer. Within the system it will be decoding the data. The data it will be transferred into bitted format, ones and zeros format. That it will be there in the presentation layer. When it is said to be converting back, okay, when the data is being converted, it will be in the format of either the ASCII code or it may be in the format of the EBCDIC code. Okay, the data it may be ASCII, EBCDIC code, or it may be Unicode nowadays which is being used, so that it will be understood by the system. So Unicode, so data it will be converted back, and it may be in the format of 8 to 7 bits. It may be represented in the Unicode format. Okay, mainly in the presentation layer another concept is there. It will be using the concept of compression. Compression means what? Your data bits which are being converted, okay, 32 bits are there, it will be compressed when it is said to be presenting to the other end. When it is transferring from one device to another device, it will compress the data. The 32 bit data it may be reduced to 12 bits, 14 bits data, like that it will be transferring, and it will be compressing the data. That it will be done by the presentation layer. So remember, the presentation layer is what? It will be converting the data into the computer or the system related concept. It will be like transferring the data, or it will be converting the data into bitted format which is said to be understood by the system, and it will be compressing the data in a fewer bits. It will compress the data. Okay, that is the part of your presentation layer. Another 2 points are there of the presentation layer. It will be doing encryption. Encryption is nothing but I have to provide the security for the data. When I am sending the data from one device to another device, it should be providing the security by it may be providing the passwords, or it may provide any other security format. That it will be done by the presentation layer. And even decryption. Decryption is nothing but other end also, when I give a password or something security things, it should open the file and it should be read by the other end, at the other end. That is said to be your decryption. Okay, that it is also being covered in the presentation layer. So mainly in the presentation layer it takes care of two things. Remember, one is it will be translating the data into a format which is said to be understood by the system or the computer. So whichever device it is there, it will be understood, and it will be compressing the data. Okay, what does it do? It does the translation, it compresses the data, and it will be encrypting and decrypting the data. Okay, that it is being done by the presentation layer. And next layer is your application layer. Application means what is, I want to read the data. Okay, mainly the humans want to read the data. So when they are said to be reading the data, it should be understood by the humans. So it will be transferred back into a whichever the machine language, it will be transferred back to a language which is said to be read by the humans. So when it is said to be read, it will be using various protocols, it will be using various things within the systems. So you have the protocols, the file transfer protocol. When I have to send the file from one end to another end, that files should be supported by the system. And even the HTTP, or it may be the simple mail transfer protocol, it may be hypertext transfer protocol. These are the protocol applications which will help you out in reading the data, getting the data in the specific format which is said to be understood by the humans. Okay, so mainly in this concept of application layer, it covers the email concept, the browsing concept, applications, everything. It will be dealt in the application layer. And it helps in networking concept, it helps in accessing the network, getting services from the network. You can access the internet, you can transfer the file from one end to another end. All these things can be done through the help of your application layer. Remember, application is nothing but your software which will help you out in reading the data, getting the data, transferring the data, everything. So remember, in the OSI model you have various layers. So you have the physical layer which is dealt with the help of, like you have the physical layer which will help you out in reading the data in the binary format, that medium which will help you out. Data, it gets linked from one end to another end, the mainly one address to another address it gets linked. And network, it gets the routes ready for transfer of data. But at transport layer, it transfers the data. Session layer, it provides the concept of like keep tracking of the data. Mainly session layer, what does it do? It will track the data, where it has reached, everything. Presentation layer, it provides the security, everything, converts the data into a machine readable format. Whereas the application layer, it will help you out, the human beings, to understand the data through the file transfer and other applications and the browsing applications. Okay, so these are the concepts of the OSI model which you have learned, and those are the basic things, and it's an important questions in the aspect of examination. They may ask a question on OSI model. Okay, so this is the end of your OSI model, and in the future classes I will be dealing about the TCP/IP model. Okay, thank you.